Thacker with Les Kiter, and we're about a half hour or so away from the championship game of this Rainbow Classic, which is going to be a great rematch this year for basketball fans, Les.
Indeed it is, and Missouri is a team, one of three that knocked off the Tar Heels, the defending national champions. They'd like to be the first team to do it twice.
Both won their right in here, North Carolina last night, and so did Missouri. They met way back in December, and Missouri won that game, handing North Carolina its second consecutive loss and knocked them out of the top spot in the major polls. But here they meet again in far away the 50th state, and this will be the Rainbow Classic Championship. Should be a great one.
It should be indeed, Jim, and Dean Smith has the Tar Heels back on track. Oklahoma just won the battle for third place, beating the host Rainbows in a shootout, 96-85.
So coming up, it'll be North Carolina versus Missouri for the Rainbow. Metro Sports presents Rainbow Classic Basketball from Hawaii. Tonight, it's the Classic Championship. The University of North Carolina versus the University of Missouri. This game comes to you live from the Neil S. Blaisdell Center Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii. Aloha and welcome again to Hawaii and our championship game tonight. We're North Carolina versus Missouri. I'm Jim Thacker with Les Kiter. We have a capacity crowd and two of America's fine teams.
Two of the best, Jim, and what a natural climax to a tournament. One of the only two 18 tournaments left in the pre-holiday time, and we're down to the two who are fighting for the championship, the Tar Heels and the Tigers.
And here's how they got here last night, Les. You know, North Carolina defeated Oklahoma in a game we had and looked very impressive. Oklahoma made it a game in the late stages, but the Tar Heels won that one a little bit to spare.
Yes, they did, and Tar Heels had to show some maturity in the second half to pull it out.
And, of course, Missouri beat the home favorites, the University of Hawaii.
And that's not easy to do when you walk into a building like Blaisdell Arena with 7,000 cheering against you. But Missouri showed the necessary maturity to do the job.
Now let's take a look at North Carolina. They lost 3 games early in this season. That was real puzzling to many fans because here's the national champions, 3 starters back, including an All-American and Sam Perkins. But they've recovered from that, and Perkins has to be the key man.
Indeed he is, and when you mention their 3 losses, don't forget St. John's and Tulsa, but the third one was this same Missouri team.
Perkins last night had his career high in rebounds, 17. The other man to watch is Michael Jordan, who fired the shot heard around basketball last year in beating Georgetown. As far as Missouri's concerned, they go inside to their big man, Steve Stepanovich.
And the big fella, they call him Stipo, has done a tremendous job coming on this year. And I think, talking to some of the Hawaii players, that he may be the answer to Perkins tonight.
Well, John Sunvold is the other guy, the catalyst of the Missouri team. He's the glue that keeps them together. He did it last year. They won their 3rd Big A championship. So Sunvold, and here's another guy to watch. Greg Cavender, who was just sensational last night. He may be the sleeper for Missouri.
You know, he was in Seattle when Missouri lost their only game to the Washington Huskies en route to this tournament. Everybody turned ice cold. He's the man who did the scoring.
All right, that's the setting here, the big rematch, and we have it for you. And we'll be back with the lineups and the opening tip-off after these messages. And now here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First for the University of North Carolina. Starting at forward, number 44, 6'8" junior from East Meadow, New York, Matt Doherty. Starting at forward, number 42, 6'11" freshman from Black Mountain, North Carolina, Brad Daugherty. At center, number 41, 6'9" junior from Latham, New York, Sam Perkins. Starting at guard, number 23, 6'5" sophomore from Wilmington, North Carolina, Michael Jordan. And at guard, number 24, 6'2" senior from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Jim Braddock. The Tar Heels are coached by Dean Smith. And now for the University of Missouri. Starting at forward, number 35, 6'9" sophomore from Springfield, Missouri, Greg Cavender. At forward, number 44, 6'4" junior from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Ron Jones. At center, 6'11" senior from St. Louis, Steve Stepanovich. At guard, number 20, a 6'2" senior from Blue Springs, Missouri, John Sunvold. And at guard, number 24, 6'6" senior from St. Louis, Mark Dressler. Tigers are coached by Norm Stewart. We'll be back with a tip-off in just a moment.
Science history
Starting at forward, and he'll go inside with Sam Perkins to try and battle against Kavanagh and Stepanovich. North Carolina controls it. There's Dougherty right there, 6'11", and inside quickly to Perkins for the twisting shot. Rebound put up by Dougherty inside, won't go, and now Stepanovich has it for Missouri. Here comes Sunvold. North Carolina got 2 good shots last and could get them down.
Well, is that an omen? We'll see. Missouri beat them by 4 in St. Louis.
64-60, way back in December was Missouri's first game. Dressler on a drive, feeds under to Kavanagh for the layup. Credit that to Dressler. He made it very easy for Kavanagh, and Missouri takes the first lead of the game, 2-0. North Carolina with their passing game, Missouri in a man-for-man defense. You'll see a lot of team motion here against the man-for-man. Michael Jordan taking on Jones. Jones held him down the first game. Dougherty feeds to Perkins, another easy one. This time he does not miss. Sam Perkins ties it up for North Carolina at 2.
The big All-American and certainly the bellwether of the Tar Heel team in 82-83.
We played 1 minute, and it's a 2-2 tie. Jones driving in. Dougherty blocked the shot, but he also got him for a foul. First one on North Carolina, Brett Dougherty, 6'11".
Dougherty gets inside, and there's the shoulder and the call on the fall.
That'll put Jones on the line. He had a great defensive job against Michael Jordan back in St. Louis at the Checker Dome. He held the All-American candidate for North Carolina to just 13 points. And now he'll receive 2 free throws. He can break the tie.
6'4" junior.
Missouri, as a team this year, only shooting 64% from the free throw line, and Norm Stewart has not been happy about that at all. But here's Jones hitting both ends, and Missouri goes back to a 2-point lead at 4-2. North Carolina pushes it up very, very quickly. They got the big lineup, and this may be one you'll see, as North Carolina now has had 10 games to experiment with a young team, coming back mixed with the veterans of last year's championship team. So you'll see a lot of combinations. Here's one of Perkins wide open at the line, hitting 4 points for Sam Perkins. At his all-time great rebounding game last night was 17 caroms.
I think all through the ACC, other coaches are watching the Tar Heels tonight to see if they're ready to play their brand of ball.
There's Braddock coming down against Sunvold. He's going to wait for help. Matt Dougherty and the... Oh, what a pass to Jordan. Wasn't that a great pass by Dougherty? Matt Dougherty made it easy for Michael Jordan to slip behind the zone.
Matt Dougherty will be tough to keep off the all-tournament team with that kind of threading the needle.
6-4. North Carolina leads for the first time. Long one up by Stepanovich. Tar Heels are on top by 2. First time they've led, and there's a wild pass thrown away intended for Matt Dougherty, and Missouri gets it on the turnover.
Jim, you know, normally there's Coach Stewart of the Tigers. A team like North Carolina would like to see Stepanovich shooting outside, but this big man has a velvet touch out there.
That he does. He's scored over 1,400 points for Missouri. He's moving right up the ladder. He's going to break Ricky Frazier's record sometime in early January. There's another turnover. That offsets the one a moment ago. Sunvold just took his eye off the ball, looking at the North Carolina defense, and that's been a trademark for Dean Smith's teams over the year, changing, switching defenses. A lot of people think about their offense, but defense has really been the key to their success over these many years. Here goes Perkins on the hook, tipped up by Dougherty. And as Dougherty hits the boards, there's a foul. The push-off is on...
North Carolina foul.
I think it may be on Matt Dougherty. Nope, it's on Brad Dougherty.
Here's the play that preceded the whistle, and the surprise move to the other end of the court. But it's only the second foul, not a shooting foul, out of bounds. Missouri.
Second foul on Brad Dougherty of North Carolina, the big freshman getting his first start. 6-4. North Carolina leads it by 2. Then a man-for-man defense. Jones out of the corner, tries the baseline. North Carolina will give you the baseline, but they get help underneath. Loose ball picked up by Stepanovich into Kavanagh, and Dougherty reaches in for his third foul.
There have been 3 fouls in this game. He owns them.
Has them all, and Dean Smith now is perturbed. He's going to have to come in here with another player, and he's still going to keep a big lineup in there. He wants Warren Martin, a 6'11 sophomore from Axton, Virginia, to come in. So Smith, he can go even farther than that. He has 2 more 7-footers on the bench, and John Brownlee and Timo Markkinen, but they don't have nearly the playing time. Out of the corner, Sunbow ties it up for Missouri.
You mentioned the 2 7-footers on the bench. He has talent personified over there.
6-6 tied for the 3rd time. Each team has led briefly, 2 points on all occasions on the lead. Missouri in a man-for-man, playing loosely and sagging back on the inside. Looks almost like a zone. But there in a sloughing off man. Here's a whistle away from the ball, and it's on Jones, who's trying to keep tabs on Michael Jordan.
Sounds like Broadway at high noon. The Zebras are blowing their whistles tonight.
Well, sometimes they call them close, sometimes they let them go. And in a game like this, maybe they try to set the pattern very early that they're not going to put up with any rough stuff. Ron Jones did a great job on Jordan at the checker dome. And here's the inbounds pass, 5-second call. Did not get it inbounds. Just getting rid of the ball's not enough. You got to get it to a player within 5 seconds.
That's Pat Tanibe, the local official working this tournament championship.
Sun Bowl now. North Carolina putting on backcourt pressure for the first time. We're tied up at 6, 16.5 minutes to go in the first half. Down low. Here goes Stepanovic, and Stepanovic is blocked and fouled by Martin.
The big 7-footer draws the foul, and the fouls now stand for North Carolina. 1 team foul, Missouri.
Well, and the 4 North Carolina fouls in the same position. 3 by Brad Daugherty, and now 1 by Warren Martin, his replacement. North Carolina man for man. Stepanovic has to come get it. See how they give you the baseline? They really force you to go down toward the inline. Figure they're going to get help there. And the inline's going to help by the same token. North Carolina sagging inside on Stepanovic.
Stepanovic is finding trouble breathing in there.
Sunbow finds room, though. John Sunbow. He's connected for 2 in a row, and Missouri is back in the lead by a score of 8-6. Well, this first game starting off nip and tuck. Missouri, recall, jumped out in front in the first game. They had the lead in the halftime, held by 5 points. Matt Doherty, Jimmy Braddock. Braddock buckets away, but there's Michael Jordan to pick it up for the Tar Heels. They hang on. Missouri still in a sloughing off man for man. Sam Perkins, Kavanaugh on him. That's the same matchup we had at St. Louis. Michael Jordan goes on Jones, and he's cut off. Missouri, a pretty good job. They're going to force North Carolina to shoot outside with this type of man-for-man defense. Not giving up anything, respecting North Carolina's inside power. Brad Doherty walks. Another turnover to Missouri. The Tigers get the ball. 2 new players in for North Carolina.
Steve Hale is coming in.
And Buzz Peterson. So they're going to go to a shorter lineup with 15 minutes to go here in the first half. Missouri leads at 8-6, and we'll be back after these messages.
Cablecast is the rights granted to the University of Hawaii to Metro Communications Incorporated. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without written consent is prohibited. The announcers on this telecast have been hired and are paid by Metro Communications Incorporated in consultation with the University of Hawaii.
Full court pressure by North Carolina. Missouri leads it by 8-6. There's a double team on Kavanaugh. Right in front of the North Carolina bench.
Technical foul.
Technical foul on Dean Smith.
He's about to don the official stripes, and he got caught.
Well, he thought he was right in front of him, and he said Kavanaugh stepped out of bounds. Whatever he said must have not been very complimentary. At least the official felt that way. Norm Stewart comes down, and both of them have a little chuckle over it. Look at that. They're laughing here.
They compare notes.
I think Stewart must have agreed with him. But he was right. Sunbow at the line on the 2-shot technical. Any technical on the bench is against the coach, and that's 2 free throws on technicals. Here's Sunbow, got them both. There's Missouri's biggest lead, 10-6, and just to add to the embarrassment, the Tigers still have the ball. Of course, the time to get a technical is when the other team has the ball, right? Never want to get one when you've got it. 10-6, Missouri leads. Sunbolt in the corner, Dressler up and out of there. Rebound Perkins, and he's fouled by Kavanaugh. Oh, they really are calling them close, Les. You hit it a moment ago. Every touch foul's been blown so far.
It's high traffic on the corner with the whistles. But they're letting the players know that they're not going to let the game get out of control.
Well, we out of Virginia Tech. Watch it again. Really, there's not much contact there. That's not really a foul.
I think he winked at it.
10-6, 4-point lead by Missouri. Backdoor, Gordy layup. They pull the string on Sunbolt, and Gordy beat him. Cuts it down to 2 now at 10-8. Perkins has picked up Kavanaugh, and they got Martin in on Stepanovic. They used Doherty early, and Doherty picked up 3 fouls. Dressler really hasn't handled the ball that much, being hawked there by Peterson. Turnaround shot on the inside is hit by Stepanovic. That's his first basket tonight. He's only 15 more away now from moving into second place among Missouri's all-time scorers.
And the Tigers have the 4-point lead second time.
12-8. Here's Steve Hale. He came in a moment ago. Buzz Peterson. Lobbed on the baseline to Perkins. Here comes Perkins. Going for his left hand. Boy, he kind of had a slip foot pass through the defenders to Doherty.
Stepanovic has climbed right into Perkins' uniform.
Well, Missouri's playing a very sagging defense, and North Carolina is content to work its inside passing game. It's worked a couple of times, too, with backdoor cuts. They're not too eager to take the outside shot. And there's a holding foul. It'll be on Stepanovic. His first one, second one, third one on Missouri. North Carolina with 4. Watch.
We're looking at the defense set up by Missouri, anchored by Stepanovic. Watch him there with Perkins.
Yeah. Grabbed the arm as he tried to front him. First one on Stepanovic. Best center in Missouri history, without a doubt. North Carolina trailing by 4 here with the ball early in the game. 13 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first half. Packed house, 7,500 at the Blaisdell Center Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii. You night owls back on the East Coast, hope you're enjoying everything here live. There goes Michael Jordan in. He draws a foul.
You mentioned the Night Owls down in the Atlantic Coast country. In Durham, North Carolina, where Duke is a fellow named Peter Bach. He's the general manager of the Hawaii Islander baseball team back home on vacation. He heard you last night. He called. He's watching and listening again tonight.
Well, aloha to Peter. 12-8, 4-point lead by Missouri. The foul was on Michael Walker, a senior reserve who's off the bench from Kansas City. Had the winning basket here in the opening game against Arizona State. Michael Jordan has not really been heard from that much tonight. Again, you got to credit Jones and now Walker, who's picked him up. Long one by Hale on the outside. This kid doesn't shoot very often, but he has a great outside touch. 12-10.
His percentage is impressive.
Missouri by 2. Down the middle. That's a super block, and they got a foul on Martin.
There goes Dean Smith again. He may not be with us long tonight.
Well, I don't know. Well, that looked like a pretty good block. Let's see if Martin did indeed foul him. Well, he did. Brushed him coming down, but he got a block upstairs. That just shows you the officials see it better than we do. At the line, Greg Kavanaugh. They call him the garbage man, and he's proud of the title.
He sparkled in Seattle as the team came here, even though they lost to Washington, their only defeat.
There's an interesting story. He's only a 60% free thrower, but he beat North Carolina with free throws in the first game. Misses 2 here, and now they call a lane violation on Perkins. That'll give Kavanaugh another shot. He had 8 out of 10 free throws down the stretch when North Carolina purposely were picking him out to shoot the free throws. And that time it cost them by stepping over the lanes. 13-10, Missouri by 3. 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. Steve Hale, a freshman now, the point guard for North Carolina. And Jordan, and a holding foul on Walker. Oh, they are really calling everything. Now watch Jones.
We're watching Jones on defense now.
Usually they give you that, Les. Well, there was contact in there, but if you had basketball no one ever touched anybody, I don't think the fans would like it. 13-10. We're not trying to officiate, though. Here we go. Michael Jordan working against Walker. Inside to Sam. Stepanovich was able to pick it off. They tried to lob it inside to Perkins.
The Tigers could have the first 5-point lead if they score.
Sunbo seeing Stepanovich very high. Here comes Walker. Inside, Stepanovich feeds it to Kavanagh, and Kavanagh's fouled by Perkins. If this keeps up, they're going to foul out about 6 players on each team.
We're looking at the last foul just called against Perkins right there.
Sal, did you see it?
Now, Jim,
you got to watch closely to see these fouls. That's the first one on Perkins.
6 on Carolina, 5 on Missouri.
Now in for Missouri. Ron Jones returning, replacing Sunvold at guard. Nope, he doesn't replace Sunvold. Replaces Dressler. Kavanagh back at the line.
He has now missed 3 of the last 4, even though Missouri leads 13-10.
Rebound grab by Perkins. 3-point lead by Missouri. Perkins sometimes will take that shot from around the perimeter. Missouri really dropping off on its man-to-man to clog up the middle. Now it's Curtis Hunter now is checked into North Carolina. Steve Hill trying to penetrate. Passing inside to Michael Jordan, who gets free. Well, North Carolina is determined to work the ball inside. 13-12, and the Tar Heels have just pulled back within 1. 11 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half. Sunvold coming across Missouri with that ball away on the move. Beautiful shot by John Sunvold. He's got 8 points, and Missouri's up by 3 again.
In the air, in the bucket by Sunvold, and he is certainly a catalyst.
Sunvold scored almost 1,200 points at Missouri, 1,172 coming in tonight. Picked up 8 already, so he's 1,180. Here you've got Curtis Hunter and Jordan in the line both time. They say they're like bookends. There's a screen for Perkins. The left-hander. Sam Perkins, the All-American center for North Carolina, cuts the margin back to a single point for Missouri. 10 minutes, 26 seconds to go in the first half. Sunvold trying to get back door, fires it up and draws the foul. That's on Hale. Number 1 on Hale, and now North Carolina's picked up 16 fouls, Missouri 5, and less than 10 minutes of action. So we may see some bonus action.
Right, and Dean Smith is sending in Brownlee and Doherty now, getting some talent off the bench. Terry Holland of Virginia told us here last week that Dean Smith has 10 high school All-Americans on that bench.
Well, incidentally, Terry Holland's Virginia team won their game tonight back in mainland America and defeating Old Dominion.
The one they lost
Times-Dispatch Championship.
A week ago, they lost on this court.
That's right.
To Chaminade.
Chaminade. That's
historical.
Shocked the world, isn't it? Well, Sunvold gets one of them, and, you know, with 9 points. 2-point lead. North Carolina's got a chance to tie the score, and it is Perkins with Stepanovich right behind him. Perkins wants it right back. Doherty will take the shot from the corner. Rebound Perkins. Perkins goes up against Stepanovich, and the rebound is out to Missouri. Ron Jones. They move it down. Sunvold pushing it very quickly, but North Carolina's back defensively. And there's Bridges getting it outside to Stepanovich. 4 points for Stepanovich. French Bridges now in the Missouri lineup, giving him a little quickness, but he's a little guy. They say he's 6'1", but he looks more like about 5'11". 18-14, Missouri's up by 4 again.
He may be 5'11", but you look at him from behind, he looks like the side of a barn.
Here comes Perkins moving down on Kavanagh. Fired it under the Hunter and threw it away. And North Carolina turns it over again. That's about their 6th turnover. Back in come Michael Jordan, Jim Braddock, and Warren Martin. 3 players for the Tar Heels, and we get a timeout. And we'll be back with more Rainbow Classic games after this message. Now Missouri's defensing Michael Jordan, a great big guard or small forward for North Carolina. There he is, number 23.
He's Mr. Versatility, isn't he?
Well, Jones has him surrounded down below, and then they get a lot of help everywhere Jordan goes. He likes to work inside, but he's been surrounded so far.
Jim, interesting numbers. The rebounds now. Carolina has 8-2 over Missouri, but they have 6 turnovers to 1 for the Tigers.
Only 2 rebounds for Missouri. That's hard to believe. But 6 out of 9 from the field for the Tigers. 67%. North Carolina hitting 54%. So pretty good shooting by both. 7 fouls against the Tar Heels and 5 against Missouri. And it's 18-14 Tigers with 9:14 to go in the first half.
Oklahoma won 3rd place tonight, beating Hawaii 96-85.
And another great performance by Wayman Tisdale. He is a cinch All-American before he finishes at Oklahoma. Prince Bridges now teaming up with Sunbolt in backcourt. North Carolina pressing man-to-man. Lob to Bridges for the dunk. Little Bridges, he's the guy we told you about. But he got up in the sky, and Missouri has its biggest lead. Watch this timing.
Alley-oop to perfection.
2014. Bridges did not play in the first game against North Carolina. He was hurt. Michael Jordan open with a screen, the baseline short. And it goes out of bounds off 2 Missouri players. So North Carolina gets a break on that play.
Missouri sitting on the first 6-point lead in this ball game. 8:41 to play first half.
Coached by Norm Stewart, a UPI Coach of the Year last year, and an unprecedented 3 straight Big 8 championships. Michael Jordan baseline bounces into Perkins. I got a mismatch for a moment there with Dressler on Perkins. There's a push off inside. That'll be against North Carolina. Maybe Michael Jordan getting a little frustrated. That's his first personal foul, and it'll be a 1-and-1 for Missouri. So Missouri gaining the upper hand again here, as they did at the Checker Dome in December, when Missouri then jumped out to a lead of 5 points at halftime. That was when Stepanovic and Sunbolt led the way with 22 and 18 in scoring, but the defensive play of Ron Jones, the free throwing of Kavanaugh down the stretch, were 2 of the big factors. Bridges will get a bonus free throw. This young man broke his foot back in September and had surgery on it in October. They didn't expect him back until January, but here we're still in December, and he's playing. And he just contributed his 4th point, and Missouri has its biggest lead. 8-point lead at 22-14. Oh, the Tigers saving their best performance so far for the championship game. Mark of the championship team. Perkins reach over foul by Dressler.
Missouri's been building this lead without Stepanovic, who is just now re-entering the ballgame.
Watch Dressler. That's 16 fouls now in Missouri, and so now both teams will be on the bonus the rest of the way, but this time North Carolina just gets an inbounds pass. Missouri in a zone. Nope, they're picking up man for man. They switch right out of the zone, the man for man. Preferring to stick to, keeping Jones here on Michael Jordan, who gets free for a moment but can't hit. He's being frustrated by Ron Jones again. Another great job by Jones so far. Sunbolt, left side, Prince Bridges. 7:50 to go in the first half. Missouri with an 8-point lead, 22-14. Sunbolt on the move, hitting. Sunbolt has been the guy tonight for Missouri. That's 11 points for the little blonde from Blue Springs. He played the last 6 games without relief, an Iron Man for 40 minutes. 24-14, 10-point lead. Taking the same pattern of the first meeting of these two when Missouri went on to win. Now here's Perkins twisting inside to break a little drop. 8 points for Perkins. 24-16, Missouri up by 8.
Here's the bucket, left-handed Perkins, all net.
Sunbolt down low, falling away, and the rebound lost out by Stepanovic. So it'll be North Carolina's ball. Buzz Peterson returns for the Tar Heels, number 22. He had the hot hand against LSU, hitting his first 9 shots in the second half after North Carolina scored only 9 points the entire first half. Well, with the score, Missouri 24, North Carolina 16. Let's pause for these messages. Well, Well, North Carolina lost 3 of its first 6 games, but now they've come on and put together a winning streak of 4 in a row. But here tonight, 7 turnovers and 8 personal fouls, plus a technical has cost them. Missouri has cashed in, hitting a total of 6 out of 10 free throws, including the 2 technicals. North Carolina's yet to get a free throw, and those turnovers have hurt too. So the Tigers lead it for Norm Stewart, who's the all-time winning coach at Missouri, now with 285 victories. Scores 24-16.
You mentioned Sunvold. You know, he's from Sioux Falls, and he was a straight-A student in high school, and he has been brilliant in his junior year.
Well, he is just a great player, floor leader, a good scorer. 24-16, Buzz Peterson back in there. Michael Jordan open, top of the circle, hits. Jordan's 6-point now. He's trying to get on track. 24-18. North Carolina with a little bit of a rally going. The last 4 points to cut it from 10 to 6. Sunvold to Jones. Jones will not take the baseline bait. Kavanagh, who was a hero last night with his tip-ins on Hawaii's a driving hook by Stepanovic, won't stay, and Sam Perkins has the rebound.
Trying to make it 6 straight points to the Tar Heels.
Well, the basket here, North Carolina will be back within 4. They lob it to Jordan for the layup. That was strictly between Perkins and Jordan. 8-point for Jordan.
Mr. Versatility, Jordan. He goes guard or forward for Dean.
24-20 started this game at guard. Inside Stepanovic. Perkins holding down Stepanovic. A reach in, almost knocks it away. Loose ball on the floor. Kavanagh comes up with it, and Missouri hangs on. North Carolina now stepping up its aggressive defense. Here's Kavanagh, works the inside for a jump shot, rolls across. Jordan has it for North Carolina, and the Tar Heels now can cut it to 2. They're going for their 8th straight point if they get a field goal in this possession. Lob to Jordan, touch pass back to Doherty. They're trying still to work the ball to the inside. North Carolina has, well, here's Doherty outside. Rebound is by Perkins, grabs it off and fires in. Hits, and there's a whistle and a foul. Basket is good. Foul is on Sunvold, his first one. And Perkins with a 3-point play could trim it to 1.
Here's Perkins going up now with a rebound. Turning to the hoop and putting in the bucket, and he'll go to the line for 3.
Well, Sunvold reached in just as Sam was going up.
You know, this is what North Carolina did last night in the semifinal game against Oklahoma. They suddenly explode and the scores pile up.
That's Curtis Hunter who's come in. There's Perkins.
Looks suave, doesn't he, out there?
Well, he's a cool customer, this young man from over New York.
Ice water in his veins, and he knows what a hoop is.
3-point play. That's 11 points for Perkins in the first half. Got his season high last night, 23 against Oklahoma. 24-23, yep. Missouri led it by 10, and here's the feed to Stepanovic. Rebound is by North Carolina. Tar Heels can take the lead. Matt Doherty off the fast break. And the rebound is down to Missouri. Moving back is Prince Bridges. Bridges driving, goes to the baseline, twisting, a rebound pulled out by Perkins, and they've got goaltending there. Pretty good call. Boy, but Perkins really got up.
Here's the goaltending call again. The ball in its upward flight or downward flight?
It's definitely coming down. Sam just went up and grabbed that one. Probably would have been in any way. Steve Hale, the freshman guard from Oklahoma, is back in the North Carolina lineup. And the old team at guard right now with Michael Jordan, well, with Buzz Peterson. So
Coaches
Hale.
Stewart and Smith are almost working in tandem. They discovered a wet spot over there.
Here, let's take a look at this fast break.
Everything but the bucket that time.
I don't know what happened to Stepanovic on that play, whether he slipped. Under now, Buzz Peterson. Backdoor cut by Peterson. That's the first basket for Peterson tonight. 26-25. Again, Missouri's lead is to 1. Here goes Prince Bridges. Inside pass is knocked away, and Doherty's got it for North Carolina. Brad Doherty it is. Feeding now to Michael Jordan, and Jordan fakes. Feeds the left side to Hale for the bank shot. Jordan, and there's a foul on Missouri. That's on Stepanovic. John, let's see there. North Carolina calling for goal interference, but I don't think that'll be allowed. Stepanovich gets his second one.
With all these fouls, we should mention, there he is on your screen. The referee from the Big 8 Conference is John Daybrow, working with Pat Taniba of the WAC.
Michael Jordan waiting for the shot. He had a miracle shot last year to win the national championship for North Carolina. Everybody knows one about it, Georgetown, but he had an even more miracle shot this year to avert a defeat by Tulane. Picked up a loose ball in the final seconds and hit an 18-footer to tie the score. North Carolina won in the third overtime. Rebound, and on the rebound, there's a foul on Matt Doherty of North Carolina. So Jordan missed on the 1-and-1. Doherty fouls, and now we'll go to the Missouri free throw line. The Tigers have a chance to add to the lead. This team probably is a little bit stronger than Norm Stewart has this year. Maybe not as quick. You lose Ricky Frazier and a couple other players. There's Stewart talking to John Sunvold. He's a seventh active coach, Norm Stewart is. He's really revitalized basketball in Missouri.
Both teams are in the bonus situation now. 7-team fall.
Panovich. Rebound, and Perkins has it. Last night he had 17 rebounds, and he's having a good night tonight. Again, North Carolina looks to take the lead. They were down by 10 points at 24-14. They have outscored Missouri 11-2. Perkins inside, taken away by Sunvold. Hale might have telegraphed the pass a little bit, and Sunvold's too cagey for that.
Stepanovich and Kavanagh have missed 6 free throws between them.
Well, Kavanagh, who was a 40-something% shooter in the first game, killed North Carolina at the line, hitting 8 out of 10.
There's a lid on the bucket tonight.
That's Dwight Moody from Missouri, number 21, a sophomore from Memphis. Has checked in, giving Kavanagh a little rest. Stepanovich really being checked by Perkins. Ron Jones and Jordan, and there's Jones with an offensive foul. Threw an elbow at Buzz Peterson. Ball control, so there'll be no shooting here because he had the ball.
A little physical this game right now.
Well, Jones doesn't know his own strength, Les. He is really strong. He can just look at you sometime and you're on the floor. Now there's timeout with 3:18 to go. And we'll have more Rainbow Classic Championship basketball from Honolulu after these messages. Perkins there for a moment. If they front him, they may try the lob. Buzz Peterson from the perimeter. It rounds deep, and Doherty's got it for North Carolina. Cagey player, and Jordan gets a second chance. North Carolina leads. Second time they've been in the lead. Their biggest lead was 2 points at 4-2. That was the only other time they led. Well, maybe 6-4. 27-26 North Carolina. Dressler driving, and Missouri is back in the lead. First basket by Dressler. Now we're getting a seesaw skirmish here with 2.5 minutes to go.
Here the Tigers will get on the seesaw and the lead by 1.
2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first half. North Carolina the ball down again by a point. And again, Ron Jones checking Michael Jordan. Jordan wants it inside against Jones. Here's Jordan. Back to Peterson. Peterson inside. Beautiful fake by Doherty. Boy, what a fake by Matt Doherty. And he gets the basket. What's more, North Carolina leads 29-28 with 1:50 to go in the first half.
Jim, whoever gets the last shot's going to have the halftime lead.
Possible. There's a fake by Moody, but he did not take it. Sam Perkins kind of intimidated. Stepanovich was looking for a backdoor cut, but Hale really covered Sunvold. Now we're down a minute. Here's the lob into Dressler for the layup. Dressler on the back door. Boy, these are 2 smart ball teams here.
Sunvold is scintillating tonight.
That's the 6th time the lead's changed hands. This time Missouri grabs the brass ring at 30-29. They cleared out for Peterson for a moment on Dressler. Peterson breaks across, feeds to Perkins. Perkins with the left hand, hits short. And the rebound is by Stepanovich.
Under a minute to halftime.
Missouri leads it by 1 point. They have the ball. They'd like to maybe wait down for 1 shot. Moody gets the ball inside, intercepted by Perkins. Well, North Carolina get another shot here, regaining the lead. Peterson couldn't believe he was that open. He's a good shooter. He looked around 2 or 3 times to see if somebody was going to come pick him up. 31-30 North Carolina. 7 times the lead swung back and forth.
Half a minute to halftime.
Rest of double team. Jordan knocked it away. There's a call. Jordan hit that ball and then waited, didn't hear a whistle, and then got the delayed call. That's the 2nd foul on Jordan. And a 1-and-1 coming up. Ron Jones. Well, let's see. Missouri has missed 5 free throws, and they've hit 8. And Jones is 2 for 2. Another strong performance by him. He hasn't scored that much, but he has really shadowed Jordan, although Jordan scored 10 points. He's had to work for them. Bonus shot. Come out. That ties it. 31-31 with 25 seconds to go.
Ron Jones is a 6'4" forward, a junior, strong inside player.
About 225 pounds, I'll say. Doesn't know his own strength. Well, the score is tied now, and North Carolina will get the ball with 20 seconds to go in the half, and they're going to try to wait for 1 shot. Missouri's back in a 1-2-2, but they're in a man-for-man, but they're really playing back. No pressure on the outside.
Hale looked like a traffic cop.
8 seconds. Matt Doherty. Doherty fakes, gets off the shot. Rebound is by Missouri, and there's the buzzer, and we're all tied up at halftime in a standoff between Missouri and North Carolina. Certainly 2 of the better player teams in the country this year. They've had 1 classic game already, which Missouri won 64-60. And now here at halftime, it's dead even between the Tar Heels and the Tigers. That's the end of the first half of the score, 31-31. We'll be back with our halftime activities after these messages. Stepanovich of Missouri was held only 4 points by North Carolina's quick defense, while the other advertised players all came through. Sunbo with 11 points for Missouri. North Carolina's big pair scored 21. There's the individual scoring. Here's the team statistic. Look at that shooting. 62 and 61%.
No wonder we're tied.
Rebounds. North Carolina's the edge there, but turnovers. North Carolina has 8 to only 4. And we'll check the other individual scoring and have the start of the second half between Missouri and North Carolina for the Rainbow Classic after these messages.
Perkins with 11, Jordan with 10, Doherty and Peterson 4 apiece. Remember, the score is tied at 31 for Missouri. 11 for Sunbolt. Stepanovich surprisingly limited to 4. Cavender, Jones each 3. Dressler has 4. So the scoring's evenly divided. Nobody is singing any special tune in the nets at all. And particularly, Jim, we have both Stepanovich and Cavender missing free throws that would have given Missouri the lead.
Well, it's true, but in the final result, Missouri has its tie here because of free throws. They were able to convert a total of 9 free throws in the first half. North Carolina only shot 2 and made 1 of those.
So the total score, 31 apiece, and the next 20 minutes is going to settle the 19th annual Rainbow Classic.
Dean Smith and Norm Stewart, the 2 Brain Trust chairman of the board here for North Carolina and Missouri. And Missouri has the ball to start the second half. It's their turn on the jump ball. North Carolina jumping out of the double team in the zone. Stepanovich. Brad Doherty now starting the second half. They got the big guy on Stepanovich. Out of the corner, Sunbolt. He had a hot hand the first half, and he is fouled now by Perkins.
Boy, he tickles the twine from outside, doesn't he? Here's Sunbolt deep in the corner, casting off and hitting. All net.
That's the second foul on Perkins. First one of the second half. Sunbolt now with 13 points, and he's the top scorer of the ball game. The brother, of course, is on the coach's staff with Norm Stewart. Brother Bob, assistant coach for Missouri. And he was Stepanovich have had the... well, he was fouled after the shot, so he isn't going to be free throw. Instead, Missouri gets the ball, and so they could come up with a 4-point possession here. They got the basket by Sunbolt to take the lead, 33-31. They get the ball right back. The foul after the shot. Well, it could turn out to be a very big play for Missouri. Stepanovich bounces out of bounds, trying to get it to Cavender. Same starting lineups for both teams. That's Kavanagh, Jones, Stepanovich, Sunvold, and Dressler for Missouri. Doherty, Perkins, Braddock, and Jordan for North Carolina. North Carolina's Dean Smith starting the big lineup.
I was going to say you weren't stuttering there. That is Doherty and Dockerton.
Well, that's right. That's the inside there. Boy, Jones really shadows Michael Jordan. He is all over him, and there was an example. That was a bullet pass inside, and Jones still picked it off. Sunvold. Hitting again? Yes, he does. John Sunvold. He's killing North Carolina with his jump shots.
Here's the man who is dominating in the second half from either corner. Sunvold, 35-31 Tigers.
Still in the first 2 minutes of the second half. North Carolina passing game, still looking to the inside. Trying to work to Jordan, who's really been checked again by Ron Jones. Outstanding defensive play. He's fronting Jordan. That Doherty fakes, goes up, hits, and he's fouled. Doherty's one of the cleverest players at reading that particular play. He gets the player in the air, and that time it was Dressler. Then he goes up to get the shot.
And there you saw the foul as he let fly for the hoop.
Very savvy player, this young man from New York State. Averaging 9.6 and almost 5 rebounds a game. Getting a word of encouragement or instruction from his coach, Dean Smith. This could cut the margin down to 1, 35-34. 18-28 to go in the game. Boy, it's been a fine game here. Missouri and North Carolina, the rematch. A little closer than the first battle. Stepanovich, baseline, jump shot, hitting. One of the few times, only the third basket for big Stepanovich. 37-34. Matt Doherty's had to take more of a role here. There goes Braddock out of the corner. And the rebound grabbed by Dressler for Missouri. The Tigers can increase the lead now back to 5. They're leading 37-34. Sunvold blocked by Jordan. Whistles it inside to Perkins. Great play, and there's a foul by Sunvold in backcourt. He might have been a little bit frustrated over what was a spectacular defensive play by Jordan. Watch this.
You watch him. It's almost humiliating to him for the moment because he had the ball, loses the ball, possession and everything, and then goes in for the foul.
Jordan first thought, as he went in the air, I'll bet you, was to bank the ball off the leg of Sunvold, but then he saw Perkins open, and he let him have it. 37-34. Big play by Jordan. Inside bounce pass, the foul's on Jones. That's the third foul on Ron Jones. And that could be a big item because Jones' defensive play on Jordan has been one of the keys for Missouri, both in its game in St. Louis and here in the first half in Hawaii. 37-34. Perkins on the baseline. Dressler backing up, sagging back, help on the defense. Perkins twists around, gets a shot off, hits. Perkins been almost unstoppable when he's been one-on-one. 37-36.
Sheer determination there. He was not going to let anybody stop him.
Well, Missouri is double teaming a lot. There's a pass intended for Jones. Missouri had a good idea there, and Matt Doherty broke it up.
You mentioned they're double teaming. Stepanovich is having the same problem. Heavy traffic on the lane.
37-34. Well, as we've mentioned before, these two finely tuned and finely coached ball clubs for Dean Smith and Norm Stewart. 1 point lead for Missouri. Dressler, Kavanagh the baseline, gets the double team. Weak side to Jones. Now Stepanovich at the free throw line. He hasn't been open that often tonight, but when he has, he's been able to connect. 39-36, Missouri by 3. Lob inside to Perkins, layup, foul. That's on Perkins. Basket not good.
Let's see if we see what they saw. They took the bucket away. Perkins bouncing for the air, but the foul call.
Very definitely, and a good call. Perkins made contact before the shot. Now Smith is protesting. The other official signal the basket was good, but he's getting no response from the Big 8 official. 39-36, 3-point lead by Missouri.
Smith is at long range arguing now with the referee from the Big 8.
Here's Dressler from the outside hitting. Missouri now warming up over North Carolina. They moved out by 5. Anders Perkins. Perkins goes up, and he's fouled.
Jim, the fans may want to know what they're saying to each other at long range. Dean Smith was hollering to the official, "You demonstrated with your hand that it was good," and the official ran by us and says, "No, I did not," and that was all they said.
Now Perkins was trying to draw the 3-point play, did a good fake, but Kavanagh did a good job getting part of the ball. So Perkins will draw 2 shots. Good free throw. He almost 85%. He was 1 for 1 in the first half and has 13 points. Kavanagh gave Perkins fits in their first game. Scored 16 points in that one. He already has 14 with 16 minutes to go. Both ends by Perkins. 41-38. The Missouri lead is 3. The Tigers have had a hot hand, though. They're shooting around 60% plus on the ball game. Stepanovich on a fall away at the baseline. Marvelous touch by Steve Stepanovich. 43-38, driving Jordan, and it will go, and he's fouled on the play. And that's going to be Kavanagh's 3rd. Maybe Stepanovich gets his 3rd. Let's see who they put it on. Basket will be good by Jordan. Foul is Stepanovich. That's the 3rd one on Steve Stepanovich. And Jordan now will try to equal a 3-point play a moment ago by Missouri.
Michael Jordan, Mr. Versatility at the line.
Oh, the 3-point cuts it back to 2 now, 43-41. We have 16 minutes to go in the game. So with a score, 2-point lead Missouri. We'll have more Rainbow Classic after these messages. Steve Stepanovich came into this game needing 17 points to become the 2nd leading scorer for the University of Missouri. And with that marvelous shot, he has got 10 of them. So Stepanovich might become the 2nd leading scorer of all time. He gets 7 more points. He'll tie John Brown for number 2. And he should pass Ricky Frazier sometime against Northern Iowa around the 1st or 2nd week in January when they play in Columbia.
Jim, the shooting is something to behold. Missouri, perfect 1,000% second half, 6 for 6. North Carolina isn't doing so well. They've missed 1. They're 3 for 4.
3 for 4. Well, if you added that all up, it'd be 9 out of 10, 90% shooting. 43-41, Missouri by 2 with the ball, and 16 minutes to go in the game. North Carolina set in a 2-3 zone. Sun Bowl sees the zone, and then North Carolina jumps out on a double team. Under is Dressler. Dressler smelled that zone, and he moved into action. Missouri gets an easy basket, and they go up by 4.
He opened the screen door and walked into the kitchen. No one saw him.
45-41, right in the icebox. Matt Doherty driving down the left side, fakes, gets off a shot, and again he draws the foul. We told you how many times Doherty can just smell that play coming. Watch him. He knows when there's a player in the air. Les, watch. He knows he's up there.
He seemed to anticipate it.
Well, he's going to put up the shot, so he gets 2 free throws. That's 3 fouls on Dressler, and Missouri's building a little foul trouble. Dressler, Stepanovich, and Jones all with 3 apiece.
And in the second half, 16 fouls to only 2. That's for North Carolina. Trying for a 5-point lead now. It's 45-41, Mizzou.
North Carolina's 5 out of 7 from the line. Now 5 out of 8. Rebound Stepanovich. So Doherty misses 2, leaving Missouri in a 4-point lead and with the ball with 15:20 remaining.
Man, he was trying to cut it to 3.
Stepanovich. There's the first miss of the second half for Missouri. North Carolina trying the transition game, but Missouri's back defensively. Michael Jordan from the left side. Jordan now has already passed the point total he had in the first game. That's 15 points. Jones with 3 fouls, may not be able to play him quite so closely. A lot of time to go, over 14.5 minutes. Missouri is up by 2. Here's Jones down one side, and Jones is fouled by Warren Martin.
You can see Martin underneath, the big 7-foot giant, trying to stem that shot.
I'm not sure Jones didn't foul him. You see, a defensive player, Les, has the right to go straight up. And if an offensive player moves against him, no matter how high in the air they are, the foul's on the offensive player.
Dean Smith agrees with you. However, the man in the striped shirt said,
Well, it's a rule interpretation, but the rule book says the defensive man has the right to go straight up. That's his territory. Jones on the line, 2 shots. No argument with the official, but appeared that might have been the case on that one. 46-43 Missouri. Rebound North Carolina. 14 minutes, 25 seconds to go.
Well, when he holds it up high, he's looking down.
Well, Missouri's played a very smart defensive play against game against North Carolina. Jordan getting free. Jordan now beginning to go wild. 17 points for Jordan. 46-45. Missouri's lead's trimmed to a single point with 14 minutes to go. Jones breaking the basket. Jones on the inside, and he's fouled by Martin again.
He tried to muscle his way and draw the foul and didn't. Dean Smith is irate again.
That's 3 fouls on Martin.
Here's the warning to Dean Smith.
Well, he's had 1 technical tonight.
That's John Daybrow, the Big 8 official, and he and Dean are at long range or close range. Now the 2 coaches in tandem again. We're looking at the foul call right there.
Ron Jones a moment ago hit 1 out of 2. Norm Stewart really frets about his team's free throwing, 64% for the season. North Carolina's not much better. They're hitting 69%. The college team should hit around 70, or a little better. 47-45. North Carolina looking to tie it up now for the 5th time. The score's been tied 4 times and changed hands 11 times. Match here of the ACC and the Big 8. Missouri won the first game of these 2 in December. They're leading now by 2. Buzz Peterson in for North Carolina, and Steve Hale, 2 fresh guards. Perkins going to his left hand on the hook. That'll tie it. All tied for the 5th time. 47 all.
All-American Sam Perkins, and this is why.
There's Kavanaugh going up, and he's fouled by Hale. I'll tell you, sometimes smart coaches, smart players come out on top when they adjust to officiating. I think these players are beginning to pick up the fact that you can jump into a defensive player and draw a foul. So that there was another case, and Hale picks up his 2nd foul. That's part of basketball.
Hale was almost going to argue that while he was still in the air.
Eddie Fogler, assistant coach, with Dean Smith having a word here with Buzz Peterson. And now John Sunbold at the line for the University of Missouri. Excellent free throw.
Some nights they just don't go in.
Well, the time that this young man and Stepanovich have been in Missouri, they've had their best 3 years in history. 74 victories. That'll untie Missouri back in the lead, 48-47. North Carolina now with a basket to take the lead. 13 minutes to go. Hale driving, banks it in. Steve Hale, and North Carolina's back in the lead. First time in the 2nd half. 49-48.
Don't hold them, man. Don't hold them.
North Carolina's biggest lead was 2 points. Missouri led by 10. There goes Stepanovich. Feeds on the inside. It's stolen away by Perkins. Perkins continues to play. Flawless defense. Here's Hale driving. Fires up a shot. Draws the foul. Foul was on Kavanaugh, and now he has 3. So Missouri is on the verge of being in foul trouble.
This is known as heavy traffic. As he goes up, boom. They weren't going to let Hale get 2 in a row.
Well, for a freshman, he's becoming more and more of a take-charge player for North Carolina. He's son of the former Oral Roberts coach, Jerry Hale. Kavanagh now is going to sit down, and Dressler comes in, and Missouri gives up a lot of height. They lose Kavanagh's spirited play. Oh, he's a gutty player, and now Dressler is back in with the experience. Steve Hale at the line for North Carolina draws 2. Tar Heels have equaled their biggest lead, 50-48.
This could be the swing in the ball game if the Tar Heels keep it up.
2-point lead, 50-48. This one's going to go down the wire, Les, I do believe. 12.5 minutes to go. Perkins trying to deny Stepanovich the ball. Stepanovich trying to get outside to get it. Michael Walker back in hurry for Stepanovich. That's why he wants it. Steve Stepanovich with 12 points for Missouri. Ties it at 50-50. Both teams like to work it into their big players. Perkins, Jordan, there goes Perkins. Stepanovich is on him. Perkins has him on his hip, going to the left-hand hook again. Sam Perkins with 19 points puts North Carolina back on top, 52-50. Boy, what a confrontation, a classic matchup here between Perkins and Stepanovich inside, and there's a foul on Perkins. That'll be his 4th. So North Carolina gets in real serious trouble as Perkins picks up his 4th. Watch it.
Pat Tanibe from Honolulu, a WAC official, called the foul right there.
Well, it's a good call. Perkins is all over. No matter where he's from. Here's Warren Martin. He's with 3 fouls, and Perkins will go out. Curtis Hunter comes in replacing Michael Jordan, and we'll get a timeout with 11.5 minutes to go with a score. North Carolina 52, Missouri 50. Let's pause for these messages.
In the second half, here's the All-America in the showcase.
Sam Perkins.
He may be missing Worthy and Black, but he's certainly the ringleader for the current Tar Heel gang, isn't he?
But right after that, Perkins picked up his 4th foul, and he is now on the bench. Warren Martin with 3 fouls is in. I got a kick here during that timeout. The University of Hawaii pep band was playing Shuffle Off to Buffalo. I wonder how much difference there is between the weather in Buffalo and Honolulu tonight.
Well, I must say the Thackers got out and walked the beach today. You saw a typical December day in Honolulu, 75 to 80 degrees, bright sunshine and trade winds.
Well, we didn't really walk the beach, but we went out and saw the Arizona Memorial. That's a very touching experience at Pearl Harbor. It's 52-50. North Carolina leads, but Missouri can tie it up. Michael Walker into Sunbull. Boy, Sunbull has played a tremendous first half. And Stepanovich is picking it up here in the second half. There they are on the same side. Oh, it's a great 1-2 punch. North Carolina zoning right now, 1-3-1. So they might try to test Sunbull on the outside. Boy, can he shoot.
Boy, he tickled the twine for the first 2 field goals of this half, and he's picking up the load again.
That's 18 points for Sunbull. Ties the score at 52 all. Now North Carolina playing without Perkins. And they're also playing without Michael Jordan. Curtis Hunter's in there. Freshman star from Durham, North Carolina. There he is. Curtis Hunter. Hunter breaks on the inside. Hits. Boy, he looks just like Jordan, doesn't he? Almost a carbon copy, a clone, as it were. 54-52 North Carolina.
Dean Smith keeps getting those high school All-Americans, doesn't he?
Well, he was very heavily recruited. Michael Walker hits Stepanovich. 2 men on him. He clears out. Walker's wide open. Rebound. Stepanovich gets it back outside the dresser. Good job by Stepanovich. Missouri still alive. Looking to tie the score again with 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go. And there goes Stepanovich. First miss of this half. Rebound off to Martin. And here is Hale coming over the line for North Carolina. Corner, Buzz Peterson wide open. Rebound kept alive by Hunter. Goes out of bounds to Missouri. Michael Jordan returns for the Tar Heels, replacing Curtis Hunter. So Missouri has a chance to come down and tie it, try to tie it again midway in the second half. We've got 10 minutes to go. Sloughing off inside. They double team Stepanovich. Crafty little Sun Bowl. Running it to inside. Stepanovich gets off a shot. Rebound. Michael Jordan clears it. Tips it to Hale. North Carolina coming down again. Up by 2. Bounce pass inside. Buzz Peterson blocked, and a foul is going to be called on Stepanovich, and he has 4. Well,
that's a tough call right there, Jim.
Yeah, that looked like a good block. 54-52 North Carolina. Stepanovich gets his 4th. So the 2 All-America center, 2 candidates for All-American, right there, number 40, Steve Stepanovich of St. Louis for Missouri, and Sam Perkins, a New Yorker for North Carolina, each with 4.
Stepanovich coming out now with the 4 fouls.
Now look who goes in.
9.5 minutes to play.
Yeah, but Prince Bridges, who's 6'1", goes in, and Missouri gives up 10 inches in height. They already have Kavanagh with, with 3 fouls, and he has come back.
Great leaping ability, Jim.
That he does. We saw the alley-oop earlier, didn't we? Yeah. Bridges is a great player. He led him in assists last year with over 100. Great player down in Oklahoma. Peterson missing his first, and here was a North Carolina High School Player of the Year a couple of years ago. Three-point lead, North Carolina. That's the biggest lead of the ball game. 55-52. 9 minutes, 24 seconds to go.
For them, the biggest lead.
That's right. Missouri led by 10. Bridges now teaming up with Sun Bowl in backcourt. Well, that's like lightning in a bottle, those 2 back there. This is a little Missouri lineup. Kavanagh, the biggest man.
That looked like a finger roll by Jones.
Yeah, he almost lost his balance. Jones, Walker. Here's Walker twisting down the middle, and Walker is blocked and fouled by Martin. 4 fouls on Martin.
Here's what irritated Dean Smith, this call right now. Right there.
I gotta say, Martin was there. That's the toughest call to make, though. Martin gets his 4th foul. Warren Martin. He has 4. Daugherty has 3. That's 7 at that position, and Perkins with 4. So the big inside men have had a tough time with Stepanovich and company for Missouri. There's Daugherty, who started the game, picked up the first 3 fouls of the game very early. And now he's going to come back in replacing Martin. Now they're saying that was Martin's 5th foul, so that's why he's going out. Martin did not score a point.
They're checking the scorebook over there.
We had him at 4, but apparently that is 5. 8 minutes, 57 seconds to go.
It says 5 on the scoreboard up there.
Yep, 55-52 North Carolina. So Martin is out. Brad Daugherty with 3 is back in, and Perkins, the other big man who's been used for the most part for North Carolina, is on the bench with 4. And Missouri has its problems. Stepanovich with 4, Kavanagh with 3, and Jones with 3.
Time remaining just under 9 minutes.
At the line now will be Michael Walker, who fired a very big shot here in this tournament, kept Missouri alive. He won the game in the final 10 seconds. He hit a shot that beat Arizona State. He misses that one. Arizona State, no doubt, would have won the ball game.
We've had several games in the 19th annual Rainbow Classic here in Honolulu that have gone down to the wire and seesawed at the end.
Rebound by Daugherty.
Big miss for Missouri.
That it is. It leaves North Carolina in the lead by 3, 55-52. Braddock now fires into Michael Jordan. A jump shot by Jordan, and the rebound is off by Kavanagh. Jordan got his shot, was just short with it. Here comes Sun Bowl for Missouri. Sun Bowl driving on the move, blocked by Matt Doherty. Outside Cleveland Braddock. Fast break North Carolina. Right side Peterson up the middle. There goes Daugherty, and he's fouled on the play as he went up. I think Prince Bridges, the little guy, got him.
You rarely get to see a missed dunk, and here it is.
Well, Prince Bridges got part of his arm as he went by. First foul on Bridges, and Brad Daugherty will go the line for 2.
Jim, I think he telegraphed the dunk, and Bridges knew it was coming.
On the season, he's only a 53% free throw shooter, but cans that one. 56-52. Again, that's North Carolina's biggest lead. And Doherty will try to make it 5. And there's the biggest lead of the Tar Heels. 5 points, 8 minutes, 23 seconds to go. 57-52.
Now we'll see if the Tigers have come from behind proclivities.
Well, in the first game they met, North Carolina got the lead in the last 4 minutes, and Missouri came from behind and won it. That time, a young guy by the name of Laurie, Barry Laurie, came off the bench and hit 2 big shots, including the winner. Missouri missing Stepanovic.
Sorely missing him.
And North Carolina missing Perkins. They're out for the same reason, 4 fouls apiece. Sunbull having to shoulder more of the responsibility. Gavin on the inside. Gavin fake, walks. Turnover to North Carolina. 7:46 remaining in the game. 5-point lead by the Tar Heels. And we get a break in the action. So with the score, North Carolina 57, Missouri 52. Let's pause for these messages. Here we are back in Honolulu, Hawaii. North Carolina scratched from behind in the second half after a trail by 10 the first half and by 5 in the second half. Sam Perkins was leading the way, and then he picked up his 4th foul. He's going to sit down for a while with 7 minutes and 46 seconds to go. And Missouri in somewhat the same fix because Steve Stepanovic has 4, but Missouri is now trailing by 5. And Norm Stewart says he can't wait. So Stepanovic comes back on the floor with 4 fouls. Well, he's an experienced, heady ball player, and I'm sure he's had to play before in foul trouble.
Jim, can you imagine in the Big 8 this year the matchups between Missouri and Oklahoma? The Sooners won 3rd place here tonight, beating Hawaii, and they gave North Carolina fits last night.
Well, they got a first-place player, I'll tell you that, and Wayman Tisdale. If there's a better freshman big man in the country, I'd like to see him. North Carolina now will work it here with a 5-point lead in the passing game. Michael Jordan up in the air. Jordan short again. Rebound off by Stepanovic. And so there is his presence being felt immediately off the bench. 57-52. Missouri trying to cut it to 3 with Sunbull hitting again. John Sunbull, a spectacular shooting night in Hawaii. 57-54. North Carolina by 3. And Sam Perkins is up for the Tar Heels.
Team can't wait any longer.
Oh, his team leads down to 3. Of course, you're figuring Perkins back in there makes it more dangerous for Stepanovic with 4 fouls. Works both ways. Right now, North Carolina working without Perkins. Nursing a 3-point lead. 6.5 minutes to go in the game. Jordan keeps running the back door, but Jones right in step with him. There they are. Oh, he is very patient now with our passing game here.
6:10 to play. 6:10.
All right, Tar Heels are really working here to try and get the ball to the inside of Jordan. But Jones will have none of it. Jones is doing a marvelous job keeping the ball away from Michael Jordan. 57-54. Ball's almost knocked loose by Missouri. Tigers sticking in a man-for-man defense. There's Jordan, comes to the outside, but cannot get the shot away. Jones on him.
You can see the Carolina bench all standing and applauding.
Now they're going to let Jones make a move on Jordan make a move on Jones. He cannot. Inside now is Doherty for the layup, and he's fouled on the play by Kavanaugh. By our count, that'll be 4 fouls on Greg Kavanaugh. Watch Brad Doherty. While everybody was watching Michael Jordan, Doherty sneaked in the side door, Les.
He certainly did. He cashed in, and it's now a 59-54 tally, and Doherty trying for a 3-point play.
Young player, he's just turned 18 years old. I think he's very, very young.
He was one of these brilliant young freshmen we were talking about that Dean Smith has come up with.
Rebound grab by Missouri, but North Carolina's back to a 5-point lead, 59-54. Now 5:20 go. Here goes Kavanaugh for a layup, missed it, and there's Perkins. That's a big miss for Missouri.
Norm Stewart calling a foul over there, but the whistle didn't follow.
North Carolina with a 5-point lead in the ball and 5 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Sometimes the Tar Heels will spread it out in a situation like this.
That could be a fatal miss.
Maybe a little bit too early. Buzz Peterson. Peterson got the opening.
Talk about walking right in.
Biggest lead of the Tar Heels. 7 points on Peterson's drive to the baskets, and Missouri asked for timeout. Norm Stewart says hold it right there with the score. North Carolina 61, Missouri 54. Let's pause for these messages.
Sam Perkins now has 10 rebounds, and North Carolina has Missouri, where Dean Smith likes to get the opposition. He's up by 7 with less than 5 to play.
Both teams in a little foul trouble. Perkins is playing with 4. North Carolina's lost Martin, but Missouri playing with Kavanaugh and Stepanovic with 4 apiece. This guy right here has been a great leader for Missouri tonight, John Sundell. His outside shooting has kept the Tigers close, and for a while kept them in front.
Oh, he's been tickling the twine all night long.
Bridges backcourt with Sundell. North Carolina in a zone defense, matching up. Weak side, Sundell got the opening. Rebound is tipped out of bounds, and it'll be Missouri's ball. Sam Perkins got a hand on it, couldn't hold it. The University of Missouri had the opening win, 64-60. There's a foul on the inbounds pass. Michael Jordan gets his 3rd personal foul. Team fouls, both teams are on the bonus, so it doesn't really matter. Jones goes to the line for the 1-and-1.
Norm Stewart's Tigers, remember, have won the Big 8 3 consecutive years. Coach of the year last year and heading for a big year this year. But the free throw shooting is hurting Missouri in the second half.
Well, it's hurt them all year. They've had problems at the free throw line. So has North Carolina, matter of fact. It was their undoing against St. John's in their opening loss. Perkins has the rebound. Tough misses by Ron Jones. 61-54, North Carolina by 4. Steve Hale hawked by Sundell. Missouri sticks man for man. They put Kavanaugh on Doherty now, and on Perkins rather, and Stepanovic on Doherty. Inside, Michael Jordan hits. Well, Jordan is getting his revenge tonight. He was checked in St. Louis at the Checker Dome, but not here in Hawaii. 19 points for Jordan. 63-54, North Carolina 9-point lead. They have almost equaled Missouri's big spread of 10 in the first half. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Time running short now for the Tigers. Sundell penetrates up, rebound, and it is going to be Jordan firing it up floor to Hale, knocked out by Kavanaugh, or rather by Sundell, and North Carolina gets the ball.
You can't wish it into the net, can you?
Well, that wasn't too bad a shot, though, Les.
Well, that young man,
I'll tell you, neither team has given up many easy shots.
Oh, no, that young man has been totally spectacular. But when you're trailing a team like the Tar Heels by 7 or 9 in less than 4 minutes, you can't afford the luxury of too many misses.
9-point lead by the Tar Heels. North Carolina going for its 5th straight win after 3 early losses. They lost 3 of their first 6. Playing a pretty demanding schedule, 8 of their first 11 games on the road.
I know it's somewhat incidental, but we should also mention they've previously won 2 Rainbow Classics.
72 and 77, I guess it was. Missouri's been out here before, too. 63-54 North Carolina. They're running off clock. 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go.
Here come the 4 corners, maybe.
Nope, not quite.
The anticipation is there, though. You can sense it.
Boy, good pickup by Missouri. And here goes a pass inside to Perkins for the layup. Sam Perkins with 21 points. North Carolina up by 11 now, 65-54.
Here's Sam Perkins just about destroying the Tiger.
Inside, Kavanaugh gets it back for Missouri. Only the second basket for Kavanaugh, who is a tower of strength on defense. Hale dribbling through the defenders, beats the press with 2 minutes remaining in this game. North Carolina up by 9. Missouri's going to have to start really putting on the pressure. They may have to pick out somebody to foul.
And they better start doing it right away.
Perkins works inside, hits and is fouled. And that may be all for Stepanovic. That might be the shot that ended it all because Stepanovic goes out. Perkins gets his 23rd point, equaling his season high, and Stepanovic has his 5th personal foul.
Jim, that's all she wrote. An 11-point lead and a foul shot coming up. Here's Stepanovic on the foul. The two big men clash. The ball bounces around the rim, drops into the net. A ringtail howitzer.
Well, why shouldn't it come down to the two All-American centers anyway? And in this instance, Perkins comes out the winner, getting a 3-point opportunity, and Stepanovic being banished from the game on personal fouls. And looks like North Carolina now has the Tigers on the ropes with an 11-point lead and a free throw coming at 67-56.
There isn't too much that anybody tuned to basketball could add to what you just said. When you give the Tar Heels an 11-point lead, and I say give them the lead advisedly, with only a minute 48 to go, it's Katie bar the door.
Well, it'd be tough for any team. We're not riding off Missouri's chances, of course. Norm Stewart has probably won some games in this kind of a situation. He's a grim competitor, a great player at Missouri. You know, he's a great baseball player, Les. He played for that national championship team back about 30 years ago or so, maybe a little less, 1954, 55, I think. Then went on and pitched for Baltimore, remember? Then played in the NBA a little while, didn't he, for the Hawks?
Right. He's
a great and a fine fellow.
A lot of versatility, and he gives you the impression at the banquet here at the Kahala Hilton before this tournament that he's a country boy, very shy and very relaxed, telling jokes. But boy, he's intense in the middle of a ball game.
Well, he's a super recruiter. He has signed the outstanding player from his state now for the last 5 years. He just brought in Billy Roundtree, who hasn't played a lot, but he will play a lot. And of course, previous to that, he'd had Kavanagh and then Jones, Stepanovic, Dressler, who had to sit out of here.
Jim, the Tar Heels aren't leading by 11 by accident. They're 14 for 18, 78% shooting second half.
Oh, boy. Now Perkins on the line. If he hits, it'll be his biggest scoring night of this season, 24 points. There it is. He had his previous high last night, so he's had a great tournament. 68-56, 12-point lead North Carolina. That's their biggest lead of the game.
And the Tar Heels have their revenge for St. Louis.
Here goes Bridges in. Rebound is picked up inside. Great feed inside by Walker to Jones. And he scores. Keeping alive the Tiger hopes. Full court pressure by Missouri. Now a minute 25 to go. North Carolina beats the press. Oh, yeah, there's the foul. That stops the clock. Bridges, they're going to go to the freshman Hale, who has 1 for 2.
Getting revenge as they have for what happened in St. Louis, that 64-60 upset. I wonder if the players will be talking to their coach about trying to get St. John's and Tulsa in the NCAA playoffs so they can square the books with them.
Well, this is not over yet, Les. Stranger things have happened. Free throw line is probably going to tell the tale. Rebound tipped outside is going to come to Jim Braddock. Braddock over the line to Doherty. Now we got a minute and 10 to go. North Carolina up by 10, 68-58.
If it isn't over, it never will be, Jim.
Doherty's pass. He was trying to hit Jordan. It's knocked out of bounds by Missouri. 1 minute, 2 seconds remaining. Inbounds play for North Carolina. Tar Heels led by their All-American Sam Perkins tonight and Michael Jordan, both around the 20-point mark.
Perkins has been irrepressible and has been that way all through this tournament.
Fouls on Dwight Moody.
I'll go another step with you, Jim, and I think it's very definitely going to be between Sam Perkins of Carolina and the youngster we've talked about, the freshman Tisdale from Oklahoma, for the MVP award here at this tournament.
You would think that, you know, winning the tournament would might give Perkins the edge.
That's probably
on the other hand, Tisdale set the all-time scoring record here. 44 points tonight in the third-place game. Most valuable player of this game, though, is Sam Perkins, number 41 for the University of North Carolina. His season high right now, 24 points. And he also has 11 rebounds That's 28 rebounds and 47 points in the last 2 nights of this tournament.
He's also the glue that holds this club together from its reputation of last year. Norm Stewart is a bit irate now, and he's going round and round with the same Big 8 official that Dean was doing, having some words earlier.
Well, now we're reflecting to see, with 54 seconds to go, North Carolina by 11, possibly 12 with the free throw to come. Question is, critics have been asking, what's wrong with North Carolina? Well, here's their answer. And the answer is, I guess, Les, that nothing's really wrong. They needed some time. Let's listen to Norm Stewart.
But again, hey, try to get the intercept. Try to get the intercept.
Ground us out a little bit.
If you could hear what he said, your hearing is better than mine.
Back to North Carolina, though. Look, for sure now, the Tar Heels definitely have put it back together after that rocky start. They had to replace the point guard and, of course, lost their great All-American James Worthy, named the MVP of the NCAA last year, who gave up his final year of eligibility with the blessing of his coach, Dean Smith, and signed a very lucrative contract with Los Angeles.
And here at the Rainbow Classic, they've sailed through Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and tonight in the championship game, a tough Missouri Tiger. 12-point lead with only 54 seconds to go.
70-58 North Carolina, and revenge now very definitely in sight. Long one by Sunville, who just won't give up. Rebound down by Perkins. There's another one. 12 rebounds by Perkins. Sunville almost broke it up. Knocked it out of bounds. Stops the clock with 46 seconds to go.
Sunville can show a lot of youngsters learning the game of basketball about intensity.
Missouri still has 1 timeout remaining. North Carolina's Perkins now against the press. Here's Peterson, finds, they tried to foul Peterson, couldn't get to him.
There's your 4 corners at a long range.
And it goes to Jordan. Now Missouri not fouling. They're going to play basketball here for 24 seconds. They might go after the ball and do, and there is a foul called. If it's on Kavanagh, he's out, and if it's on Jones, it'll be his first.
21 seconds on the clock for the 19th annual Rainbow Classic. Neil Blaisdell Center in Honolulu, Hawaii, and the Tar Heels of North Carolina on their way to their 3rd triumph, starting with 72, 77, and 1982.
The foul was on Greg Kavanagh, who leads. Kavanagh was the hero in the first meeting of these two with his free throwing. That led Missouri to a win over North Carolina. Now the Tar Heels have turned the tables here in Hawaii tonight, it would appear.
And in this game tonight, they were tied at 31 at halftime.
Matt Gordon misses, but the Tar Heels control, and now Braddock is fouled immediately with 17 seconds to go, so he'll go to the line. Well, we certainly appreciate all the night owls staying up, especially back in the Eastern time zone tonight, to watch the action here. Let's see, I have to try to figure out what time it is back there. It must be around 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, it is 11:15 in Honolulu, 1:45 on the West Coast, and 3:45 in the East.
3:45. Happy New Year, everyone.
How did you say that?
I'll say it later. Don't remember. Stay tuned. We're going to give you a Hawaiian Happy New Year.
We're going to turn Thacker into a Hawaiian before we sign off.
Braddock gets the bonus. This is the 111th consecutive game in which Jimmy Braddock has played. He was the backup to Jimmy Black, but he never broke his string of playing. Played 110 straight, and this is 111. The only senior on this team.
While you're practicing Happy New Year in Hawaiian, at this time we'd like to thank the staffs of these 2 fine universities for their assistance with tonight's telecast. For the University of North Carolina, athletic director John Swafford. A foul with 6 seconds to go. Head basketball coach Dean Smith. Sports information director Rich Brewer. And for the University of Missouri, athletic director Dave Hart. Head basketball coach Norm Stewart. That's the head basketball coach. And the SID, sports information director Bob Brendel.
Well done, Les. I'm sure Rick Brewer won't mind at all you calling him Rich. Matter of fact, he is rich.
He's a rich Rick, huh?
That's right. Buzz Peterson. Bonus free throws.
6 seconds remain.
14-point lead, which is the biggest of the game. This game is much closer than the final score is going to indicate. North Carolina pulled away in the final minutes. 15-point lead right there. 6 seconds to go. 73-58. Well, this will look impressive, but North Carolina's getting their revenge on Missouri. They let Jones take the shot, but the time was missing. 73-58. North Carolina is the winner over Missouri. The third time the Dean Smith Tar Heels have won the Rainbow Classic, and it evens up a score with Norm Stewart and the Missouri Tigers. But you'll be hearing about both these teams. They'll play vital roles in their conferences, the ACC and the Big 8, before it's over. That's the end of the game. We'll be back with a wrap-up after these messages.